Hello and welcome to Digital Music Discussions. So this is the second episode and we've got Christopher Carvalho.
Hello.
Christopher is a master engineer, music producer, music educator. And we're going to talk about sound design.
Yeah.
Synthesis as well.
So, it's interesting because sound design is a very intimidating subject for a lot of aspiring producers. However, I honestly think that learning sound design, the benefit of learning sound design goes way beyond designing sounds. Because when you learn sound design, when you learn how synthesizers work, you know, how an oscillator works, what a simple tone is, what a complex tone is, how they happen, what harmonics are, they give you serious advantage and serious sort of mental tools that you can leverage in production, mixing and mastering. So it's not just about designing sound, it's learning how sound works. What happens to sound when you change it in certain ways. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think we just live in a society nowadays, well, not society, I think we live in a day and age where there's just so many presets out there that you can get away with not really knowing much about sound design.
Yeah.
However, if you really want to know your stuff, you really want to know how to actually make your own sound, obviously you need to know how to design it. And yes, I think it's the thing that's overlooked a lot. You get all these massive preset packs, you get these serum preset packs. Don't get me wrong, a lot of them are good. I've used a lot of them before. But just doing it from scratch and realising that, how an oscillator works, like the different waves, filters, envelopes, all that kind of stuff, just really allows you to take your music to the next level.
Two things on that. So, first of all, learning sound design will actually help you to use presets and get more out of presets. Because if the preset is 85% there, you're like, I just need that LFO to be a bit different. But without that knowledge, you wouldn't know to do that just to get to the, it will reduce the gamble of finding the preset that you want. But also, much like in mixing, for example, you got to know what sibilant sounds like, and you got to know what those problems sound like. In sound design, when you learn how synth works, like how subtractive synthesis works, how wavetable synthesis works, through association, you will learn what those sounds sound like. So when you hear, a tune that you like, and you're listening to the sounds, you will start to decode that information into information that you can apply, because you'll learn, it's the same as music theories, it's the same idea. You're learning the language of synthesis. So when you hear, you go, right, that's a wavetable, I can hear what you did there, I'm gonna steal that idea. So instead of like sampling it or buying whoever's synth or preset or whatever, trying to find it, you can steal the idea and execute it yourself. Okay. So just like music theory, like it teaches you how to listen.
So what's your favourite synth?
What's my favourite synth?
Just your favourite synth, just for making sounds from scratch. So complete blank default.
Retro synth in Logic Pro 10. Only not because it's the best synthesizer, but because it's so easy to use.
It's got everything you need there.
Yeah, and it's really, really simple, but really, like, it has 4 different, like, synthesis methods built into it, like FM, analog, sync, and wavetable. But it's all one simple, very easy to look at, visualize workflow, and it does sound really, really good. It does sound good.
I think one's like massive. You can open up. There's so much going on, and do you really need all that all the time?
Yeah. Also,
do you really need 4 oscillators? Maybe not all the time.
When you learn this stuff, you'll be able to get more out of what you've already got. Because if you don't know this stuff, your judgment is based on the presets, not on the actual device, what the device is actually capable of. But when you learn how to design sound, or learn, more importantly, how to translate your vision into an actual piece of audio, you'll soon start to realise that you can get there with actually a lot more than you thought that you would be able to, or with a lot less, than
I think
you thought you
a
could.
lot of us, guilty of just going through presets, hitting the next button. The Nexus does this a lot, so it's got all these like great presets, and it just makes you lazy really, because some of these presets are really good.
Yeah.
But it's not really that rewarding just using someone else's preset. Oh, I just turn the filter down a little bit, or I just mess around the envelope, like. But when you're making it from scratch and you realise what everything does, that's when
You can make your own samples.
yeah, you can make your own unique sound really.
You can make your own samples, and it might give you another avenue in which to start creating something, because you might already have chord progressions, or you might start with the bass. You might have your own thing. This will give you another reason to open up the door and start playing with stuff, because you can this time just open up a synth and only think about designing a crazy sound, and then that crazy sound, that really dope sound might set the tone for the rest of the song. Like, because one thing can just inspire an entire piece of music. One very simple thing, and it could just be a pad that you make, using very basic subtractive synthesis principles. You make this pad, it sounds good, it might be pulsating a little bit or something like that, and it sets a tone, sets a rhythm, and then boom, you've got a whole track.
What was that monophonic synth we were playing around with before in Logic?
ESM?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
ESM,
really good. That's good for like...
I was just jamming on that for about 20 minutes.
That's instant acid, that is.
Yeah.
Instant acid.
Yes.
Decay, resonance, cut-off, and arpeggiator.
Yeah.
And then you can like automate.
So tip for anyone watching now, if they want to make some crazy acid styles synth sounds. So with your ESM, start simple. But also one thing about learning sound design. This is how I learned sound design before I studied it. I literally, because I was using Reason when I was in college, when I was doing music tech at college. I remember one day I was looking at all the synths that I use, because they rack up in Reason, right? Yeah.
And I think I was looking at Subtractor, which is like a very simple subtractive synth. And I was like, okay, now I'm gonna start actually turning these knobs and pushing these sliders and see what happens. Yeah. Because guess what? You're not gonna break anything, and you're gonna go, you'll start to intuitively understand what these things do. You might not be able to articulate them to someone else, but that will be much better than where you were when you were only just flicking through presets. So do that. I mean, it's not like you're on borrowed time. It's all inside the computer now, so there's no reason to not just open it up and, you can always reset the thing, or you might even save it as a preset, and then, you might go, okay, right, so turning up D on ADSR did that. Why did it do that? Refer to that in the manual, whatever,
Yeah.
That's how I started before I actually, went through a formal process of learning synthesis at university. And if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been able to learn it, because sound synthesis is so abstract. It's not analogous to anything in the world. It's so abstract that if you haven't pushed that fader or turned that dial already and associated it with a change in the sound that your brain remembers, you'll have no context in which to learn the benefit of that thing. So go mental.
I think I started off using Roland SH201. Did you ever play that synth?
Nah, not much.
I can't remember when that was. Quite a while ago. I bought that synth. I was like, literally just saying, I was like, what does this fader do? What does this knob do? That sounds cool. What's LFO? What's an LFO?
Yeah.
You look at this low frequency oscillator and you study around and stuff like that. That's how I really learned, just messing around, and then referring to manuals.
Why not? You're not going to break anything.
Well, it's just kind of pre-video courses, but referring to books. Yeah.
I mean, there's no wasted time in this stuff, because your ear is developing. Because the next time you hear when you push that fader, and the next time you hear it on someone else's track, your brain will know how to replicate it.
Yeah, you just remember something.
That connection between you pushing that and your ear responding to a difference in the sound that it makes, that connection, that's learning right there.
Yeah, it's like
that experiential learning.
Put the attack down, it comes in a bit slower. You're like, oh, Why is it doing that? You can work it out. So anyone watching this who's new to sound design, who's never created their own sound, have only ever used presets, what do you recommend they should do?
Yeah, start playing.
Mess around.
Start messing around.
And look up what you do.
So yeah, look it up and just because reading a book on sound synthesis, A, is going to be incredibly boring, and B, I don't know. I mean, whoever you are, you might be an avid book learner, and good for you. But that's not how it was possible for me. Like, I need context. Like, my brain won't connect the dots without
doing it.
Without me going, oh, it was like that time when I tried to do that, but it wasn't quite working, and now, I can only do that. I can only learn that way. Like, so when I was at uni and they were teaching me, the different types of synthesis and modulation and stuff like that, like the information went in and stuck because it connected with context in my brain. Like the context was like the foam. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're new to sound design synthesis, start messing around, and when you move stuff, just try and remember what it is, look it up as well. We've got the internet nowadays, like there's no excuses.
I mean, play with the synth. When you discover something, refer to it in the manual. Don't read the manual front to back. For God's sake, don't do that. But you go, oh, I turned that, and then you have this like, this subjective version in your head of what it did to the sound, but then you connect that with the actual science, the actual academic version of what happened, and then you've just learned something. Yeah. And you probably won't forget that ever after that.
Yeah. Well, music is a combination of art and science.
It's
switch between the left-hand side of the brain and the right-hand side of the brain. If you don't have either one balance, you're not really going to make some good music.
Yeah, exactly.
Generally.
Exactly. But make loads of presets.
Make your own presets.
Make lots of sounds. Make sounds that you do like. Make sounds that suck. It's not all going to sound good. But also, like, remember, you're just playing. You're not going to make an amazing sound from day one. You're not going to make a banger just out of one sound either.
You might do.
It might, like I said before, it might build momentum, but just have fun with it. Synthesizers are toys.
I feel like it's like
toys.
Grown-up toys, isn't it? Toys
they are grown-up.
Yeah.
I've been to enough modular synth festivals where it's just a bunch of middle-aged men just like going playing with these massive.
I've been to a few Ableton
toys,
ones similar to that. It's just a load of guys playing with all their.
But that's why we did this in the first place. That's why we did this in the first place, isn't it? It's supposed to be experimental. It's supposed to be new and exciting and weird, and I think so anyway. That's why I got into it. But like I said before, it will teach you the language of sound, and that will have benefits, sound design, production, mixing and mastering especially. I think that's not talked about much, but, because in mixing and mastering, you're designing sound. You're doing it very much in the subjective element. You're taking the complex sound and trying to mold it, shave it, here and there to fit it into something, all with the same principles, distortion, dynamics, modulation, and this is another really, really cool thing. What you'll start doing is solving problems in much more effective ways. To give an example, so before you learn sound design, you might be in a mix stage and you think those two things just aren't sitting well, and you're just convinced because you just don't have the experience to solve the problem. You're convinced that it's just a mix problem, and you just haven't found the right combination of level, EQ, and compression that will solve the problem yet. But when you learn sound design, you'll be able to go, oh, I just need to adjust that thing in the synth, and boom, your entire mix is just better. Just like that. because you're mixing the ingredients, you know, at the end of the day.
Yeah. So I think that's it for sound design and synthesis, digital music discussions, episode 2. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you hate it, give it a thumbs down. Give us some feedback, comments, questions. We are in near Torin.
Torin, yeah.
Torin,
in
Poland. Yeah.
We're in a cabin.
Yep. So yeah, thank you for watching. Sound design synthesis, and we'll talk to you next time.
Happy sound designing.